Thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me to participate in this roundtable. So yes, we don't have a collaboration yet with OpenEuler. We have a strong partnership with OpenAtom for Open Harmony, and I come back to that. But yeah, it's very a great opportunity to tell you more about what is the Eclipse Foundation and the kind of projects where we hope we could collaborate further. So first of all, we moved the Eclipse Foundation to Europe more than 4 years ago now. And we are the leading, the open source foundation of choice in Europe with a global presence, reach, and reputation. So the Eclipse Foundation is established in Brussels. And we have lots of projects that integrate with this European identity. But we are definitely a global organization because we think that open source is a global endeavor, and that's also why I also like this kind of meetings where we can meet different organizations. So quickly, the Eclipse Foundation, we are celebrating our 20th anniversary this month. And so we were created in 2004. We have more than 400 projects, 360 members, thousands of committers participating in the project, and yeah, a staff of 70 people, mainly in Europe and a part in Canada. And we really use those fundamental governance principles in all and every of our projects. So everything we do at the foundation is based on those values of transparency, openness, and meritocracy, and with the main goal being that we provide a vendor-neutral space for collaboration. And how do we do that? So this is the kind of services we provide to our members and to the ecosystem at large. So of course, infrastructure for open collaboration. So we have GitLab servers, and we also have half of our projects that are hosted on GitHub. Ecosystem development, so how to create the communities, etc. We have very well-defined governance processes. And on the right, that's something that is maybe getting new, is that we have been doing IP management for 20 years. And that's really something that we have invested a lot in IP management and license compliance, etc. And now we are investing more and more in the supply chain security, and also something new for an open source foundation in the topic of public policy, because maybe some of you heard about the Cyber Resilience Act and the fact that other regulations will also come, but that's, from my perspective, a very good news for the open source ecosystem at large, is that I think before we were under the radar of policymakers. And now open source being everywhere, when there are policies to regulate software, those policies have obviously an impact. Those policies have an impact on open source, and we at the Eclipse Foundation, we invest in embracing the need that we need to be more relevant in terms of making sure that new regulations don't hinder the capability to collaborate in open source. So we have two kind of structures of governance aspects at Eclipse. One is we have projects, and our projects are managed by the committers of the project. So that's really that's where the meritocracy in Eclipse is really in place. And we have working groups, and the goal is that a working group is a group of organizations that come together to collaborate on doing more than what is done in project. So usually in a project, it's about building code, it's about sometimes building specifications, it's about building documentation. And what we do in the working groups is road mapping, marketing, our organizing events to grow the community, etc. And we can have any kind of relationship between projects and working groups. So a project can participate in several working groups, and working groups can embrace a wide variety of different projects. So this is, and that's where I think it's important in the potential collaboration we can have with OpenEuler, is that we have 21 collaborations for the moment. So that includes Oniro, and Oniro is where we have a collaboration with OpenHarmony, and again, to come back to that, we signed an agreement in November in China between OpenAtom and the Eclipse Foundation, and that was the first time two leading open source foundations were signing such a collaboration agreement. So we are very proud of that, and so that's really on the topic of Oniro and OpenHarmony, but I will keep that aside for today, but I think that in the different working groups we have at the Eclipse Foundation, there are several working groups where we could set up collaboration with OpenEuler. So, for example, Adoptium is where we gather the community around building well-tested and the most secured enterprise Java, open source Java runtime. So that's Adoptium is OpenJDK distributions. We have more than 300 million downloads so far and counting, and we are getting 18 million downloads per month on that project. I know that in OpenEuler you have your own OpenJDK distribution, but I think that's obviously one place where we could set up a collaboration, because in Adoptium we had additional tests and also security best practices in doing reproducible builds. That's not easy to say. I'm not sure that's easy to translate, but reproducible builds for the JDK. Another one is Jakarta. So Jakarta is the result of having Java Enterprise Edition moving to the Eclipse Foundation in, that's in 2018. And it's interesting. What's interesting is that in Jakarta, we already have a strong community in China. And from my perspective, when you have OpenEuler for cloud distribution, I think that making sure that everything in Jakarta works seamlessly on top of OpenEuler for cloud, that's something that is also another way of collaborating. And this is, so every year we have a Jakarta, what we call Jakarta One Live, which is an online event. So we have Jakarta One Live China, and we have that's the most successful one. We have tens of thousands of registrations every year on that one. So there's definitely an interest in this technology. Also, well, that's funny that Benjamin was speaking before me. So you will recognize some slides, because he used to be working with us some years ago on the IoT domain. So we have an IoT working group that is covering different architecture layers, from the devices, edge computing, and the cloud. And here are the member companies involved in this IoT working group. And that's also a place where we would be happy to list OpenEuler when we set up some collaborations. And this is the kind of architecture that was put together. And you can see here that we have several different components in the different parts of the architecture. There may already be parts that you already use and integrate, like Mosquito and PAO or something like that. But that's definitely also places where I think it would be very interesting to make sure that some of those components have the proper packages for OpenERLR. Another one is Sparkplug. So Sparkplug, when you consider MQTT is the default communication protocol for IoT devices. But when you consider MQTT says nothing about the payload of the messages. And Sparkplug is a standard to create plug-and-play industrial IoT. So to make sure that different machines that integrate Sparkplug can smoothly integrate together in the factory, so you can connect your different machines in a factory, and that has been standardized at ISO IEC. So that's the first specification that we build at the Eclipse Foundation, and that we standardized at ISO IEC, and that's also an enabling technology for Industry 4.0 or this kind of approach. So yeah, it's just to summarize these different ideas. I think that it would be very interesting that OpenERLR become an associate member of the Eclipse Foundation. We are working on onboarding OpenAtom as a member of the Eclipse Foundation and having a cross-foundation membership. Also, I think that there are definitely an opportunity for collaborating on several of the working groups. We also have working groups in automotive, for example, that may also be interesting. But what is interesting from my point of view is to really leverage Eclipse Foundation projects in OpenERLR distributions, and also making sure that those projects deploy seamlessly on OpenERLR. And I see that you contribute back to some other projects, you contribute upstream, and I think that this is a very good approach that I would like to see in some of our projects. And beyond that, of course, having collaboration on demonstrators, and why not collaborating on events also? I know that you sometimes participate in events in Europe, and we have our new we are rebranding our flagship event in Europe to become more diverse, and so we call it Open Code Experience. And I think that it would be a good place to also collaborate, and we can discuss organizing something about OpenERLR at this event, for example. So that will be in Germany, very close to the Frankfurt airport, so very convenient to attend. And thank you. I think I was shorter than expected.